Hello again, everybody. It's your boy Warwic here, and yeah, we're doing another Q&A vlog. Remember, if you want to have any of your questions answered, you can leave them in the comments below, or you can send them to my Twitter or to the Discord, which the links are in the description down below. Today, we got a question from my good friend Poofy. Can you tell us what happened to shape Warwic? Like, what childhood games had a huge impact on what you like right now? That's a great question. As I was mentioning in a couple of the previous vlogs, I've been playing video games for a very, very long time. You know, probably since I was like 3 or 4, something like that. My parents had gotten, me and my sister, like an Atari and an NES when we were kids. You know, my sister was 4 years older than me, so she was playing games before I was, and then she taught me how to play. And apparently she stopped playing when I got better than her, probably like around age 4 or 5, I guess, is the story I'm told. But yeah, some of the first games I ever played were Zelda 2: The Adventures of Link, and then I also had Bionic Commando, and I also found Final Fantasy 1 and this Bugs Bunny game at a yard sale for like 50 cents a piece when I was wandering around, you know, with my parents looking for cheap stuff back in the day. And yeah, those were a few of like the first games that I put tons of time into. Bionic Commando is probably one of my favorite platformers, like to this date. Bionic Commando Rearmed, amazing remake, such a good game. And yeah, like I've been still playing all the Final Fantasies like ever since. You know, I've beaten like Final Fantasy 1 through 5 and 7 through 14. You know, minus some stuff in 11 and 14. But I still play. I put so much hours in those games. But yeah, so I had those, and then I also started getting into I had Contra at some point in Gradius, and I got really into those like very fast-paced, difficult shoot 'em ups, and like just the games that just give you no forgiveness because it's NES and everything wants to kill you, you know. And eventually I kept getting more consoles. You know, I got a Sega and a Super Nintendo and eventually a PlayStation and an N64 and so on and so forth. But typically I would tend to get RPGs or you know, really difficult games. I'm a huge fan of challenge, so I eventually got into like the Castlevanias and the Mega Mans and the Metroidvania games, you know, where there's a lot of exploration and platforming and shooting and puzzles. That's my jam. And yeah, that's about the broad strokes. I love playing RPGs. I love playing games that give me a challenge. You know, I love difficulty. You know, that's why nowadays I play games like Dark Souls. I started Sekiro recently, even though I've had to give it a break because my hands have been sore for work reasons and stuff. Cuphead is just so good. Such an amazing game in the vague of platformers like Contra and Ninja Gaiden, and just fell in love with being tested and being challenged and being puzzled. And then whenever I wasn't in the mood for that, I just play an RPG for some great story, because I'm also a big fan of just being swept away in the story. You know, you can also see that with my Disgaea playthroughs, and I'm also a huge Final Fantasy Tactics fan, you know, and games like that. Oh, and of course, one of the biggest things that took a huge part of my life was the Metal Gear series as well. You know, they're not the hardest games around, but they just were so revolutionary. You know, I loved that you could play it like kill everything, or you could play it like super stealth and quiet, and you could play it CQC and non-lethal or lethal or whatever. And so you know, around the PlayStation time when Metal Gear Solid 1 came out, God, I was just in love with that game, and I played it so much. And then I followed that series just religiously until you know, until the weird multiplayer one that came out after Hideo Kojima was fired. But yeah, like Metal Gear was a huge part of my life for a long time, and I was actually one of the first out of all my friends to ever get a big boss rating in any of the Metal Gears. I think I got it in Metal Gear Solid 3 first, and then I got it in Metal Gear Solid 4. But essentially it's like the highest rating you can get, and you have to beat the entire game without killing anybody and without ever being seen, and essentially like you just gotta be a ghost, you know, and non-lethal takedown or nothing at all, and just get by. And yeah, that was one of my favorite things for a long time. I was actually I was nicknamed Big Boss Black Socks for a while, because I was the only one of my friends that got Big Boss, and I also used to wear black socks all the time before it was cool or whatever. And yeah, so I like difficulty, I like stealth, I like puzzles, and I like RPGs and stuff. You know, I've got a pretty big range. I'll play pretty much anything that's fun or well developed. I'm not a huge fan of grinding anymore, and microtransaction games where it's like you gotta grind for 30 years or pay $20. Like I won't touch it, I won't get into it. I get bored grinding heavy now. Like even with Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, if any of you guys watched my live playthrough of that. Man, like I never finished like all the content. There was so much. I only beat 2 of the Divine Beasts, and then I just got bored because I felt too strong. I just went and rushed straight to Ganon and destroyed Hyrule as soon as I felt like nothing could stand up to me anymore. And that's what I need. You know, I need something to keep pushing me. I started playing the game again in Master Mode. It's a lot more fun that way, in my opinion. But I haven't gotten very far because it's hard as hell. So yeah, that's what I'm into, and that's kind of where it came from, why I play what I play now. You know, the platformers, the difficult, the puzzlers, the stealthies, that's my jam. And if you want to see more content like that, make sure you hit subscribe on this channel. If you want to participate in these Q&As, leave me questions down below in the comments, or, you know, follow me on Twitter or join the Discord, and that'll be it. Good game, everybody.